Hello, guys. My name is Nicholas Earl, and welcome back to another edition of Baseball Talk with the O Brothers. And today, I want to do a fun little video here before I go out for the weekend. And we're going to be talking some New York Mets. And yeah, this is a video that I've been looking to do for a little while now. And I kind of wanted to do like a little bit of a dive into what this New York Mets farm system and major league team look like right now. And are and is David Stearns and Steve Cohen building a sustainable winner for years to come, where they might not have to rely on spending a lot of money. And I just want to take a look at things along those lines. Let's get it started. Player development has sky risen since Steve Cohen took over, and then since David Stearns was hired as well. David Stearns was hired before the 2024 season. Obviously, Steve Cohen bought the team a few years ago, and since then, the prospect pool has gone way up, and the resources they've put into player development has gone up. The pitching lab has really been able to create a lot of valuable assets at the very least, if not, turn players' careers around and things along those lines. When you look at Sean Manaea and you look at pitchers like that, and looking at this Mets player development and where they've gotten some of these some of their top prospects, Jonah Tong, who is their number 2 prospect, we'll be talking about him in a little bit, was drafted in the 7th round. I mean, some of these guys that they are finding, like a Jacob Reimer, it was a 4th round pick, and the AJ Ewing was a 4th round pick. Jake Wettinger was a 6th round pick. Nick Morabito was a 75th overall pick. Like, some of these guys that are coming in out of nowhere are really just developing really well in this system, and I believe it's because of the system that the Mets have gone into place. Now, which leads us to the Mets are developing more and more top 100 prospects. Now, this also depends on on where you look. I've seen anywhere between 4 and 6 prospects on the top 100 list. Obviously, the four ones that are locked in kind of right now are Jet Williams, Jonah Tong, Nolan McLean, and Carson Bench. Those are the 4 top prospects in the Mets system. One of them's in AAA. The rest of them are in AA. That AA team in Binghamton, we're going to be talking about them in a little bit. They're so much fun right now, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. But I've also seen other publications have Brennan Sproat in the top 100, as well as Jacob Reimer, and I think maybe 1 or 2 had AJ Ewing as well, who is, according to MLB.com, the 8th rated prospect in the Mets system. The Mets are developing more and more top prospects, and just those guys like a Brennan Sproat, a Jacob Reimer, a Ryan Clifford, and AJ Ewing, and Elian Pena are probably just on the outside looking in barely. And the Mets are developing one of the best farm systems in baseball. There's a couple of ones that are up there that you can make the argument, like a Seattle Mariners have a really, really strong minor league system. The White Sox are developing one as well. But the Mets are a team that are absolutely developing a really strong farm system as well. And we'll talk about that with the sustained success that the 2025 farm teams have had. So let's hop into the farm teams then now, and we'll start with the low A Port St. Lucie Mets, if I can spell right. This is the low A short season one. They've only played 37 games so far, but they have already clinched a playoff spot for the low A in the Florida State League. They've been the best team in the Florida State League so far this season, as they have the best record, 26-11. Now, a lot of the top guys that were part of Port St. Lucie are now up in Brooklyn. Some of the top prospects right now in Port St. Lucie will be Davidson Gutierrez, who is a catcher, who the Mets signed in 2023. He's due up. They're giving him an estimate of 2029. He was a big international addition back in 2023, signed a $1.9 million signing bonus out of Venezuela. And the other one in the top 30, the Mets have 3 low A guys in the top 30. Trace Schneider, who's a shortstop, second baseman for Port St. Lucie right now. He was drafted 144th overall in the 5th round in the 2024 draft out of Missouri. It was a Missouri prep guy. These are a lot of high schoolers and things along those lines, very young guys. Trace Schneider is 19. Gutierrez is 19. And so is Jeremy Rodriguez. He's 19, shortstop, second baseman, who actually was signed by the Diamondbacks back in 2023. But then the Mets acquired in the Tommy Pham trade. So he's starting to move his way up as well. So he's currently in low A. He spent some time in the DSL, things along those lines, which we're not even counting the Florida Coast League and the DSL Mets, which the DSL Mets, if you're able to catch some Elian Pena, in a couple of years, he could be a top 10 prospect in all of baseball. So he's currently 17 years old in rookie ball, due up in 2030, though. So he's not due up for another 5 years or so. But he signed a $5 million signing bonus in the 2025 signing period. He has the potential to be very, very good one day as well. But we'll move to the next one here because Port St. Lucie doesn't have too much to go over, but Brooklyn has been fun this year as well. The high A Brooklyn Cyclones are 60-43. They have clinched a playoff spot already. And you'll notice that for a few of these teams in the Mets system, they clinched a playoff spot with a 46-20 first half of the season. Currently, guys that are on the high A Brooklyn team, the 8th overall prospect, AJ Ewing, who is an outfielder and a second baseman. He was drafted in 2023, 134th overall in the 4th round. And he signed above a slot value for $675,000 to sign him away from Alabama. Other guys who are in high A right now is the 13th overall prospect, Will Watson, who is a right-handed pitcher, drafted in the 7th round, 203rd overall in 2024. He's another one of those guys that was drafted not the highest, but he has definitely risen throughout the system. Eli Serrano III was drafted in the 4th round, 111 overall out of NC State. And he was he was signed away, or he was signed after that. A little bit above slot value, $697,000 as a draft eligible sophomore out of NC State. Other guys to keep an eye out for that team: Boston Barrow, who was an infielder, who was drafted in 2023, 8th round. Another guy, lower draft picks, and he was signed out of high school for $700,000, which basically they signed him away from UCLA. They had to give him a little bit over slot, especially even as an 8th rounder. He got 3rd round money to get him away from UCLA. So the Mets kind of overslotted him, but he's been pretty good as well. The 22nd overall prospect, Marco Vargas, who was signed in 2022 by the Miami Marlins, but only for $17,500 out of Mexico. So kind of interesting there. He was part of the David Robertson trade back in 2023. And then the final guy that's in high A Brooklyn is Ronald Hernandez, catcher. He was signed in 2021 out of Miami, and he was also part of that trade for David Robertson. He signed for $850,000 out of Venezuela. So the Brooklyn Cyclones are doing good. They have not done they have kind of slowed down in the second half, though, the Brooklyn Cyclones. That is one thing that we have noticed a little bit. And, I mean, I kind of expect that when in the wait, no, it's I'm on the wrong league there. It's kind of expected when you have a bunch of your guys graduate to graduate to AA, and that Binghamton team has been really good. So Brooklyn's really struggled a little bit as of late, but They've already clinched their playoff spot with a really strong first half, and we'll talk about it here in a second. This Binghamton Rumble Ponies team is a lot of fun. Let's talk about it. The Binghamton Rumble Ponies may be the best team in minor league baseball, out of all ranks. Currently, they are 68-33. They are currently the best team in the Eastern League by 7.5 games. They have already clinched their playoff spot, with a 45-22 first half. They have been absolutely unstoppable. They're 23-11 in the second half so far. Binghamton is where the top of this Mets system lies. Because Binghamton has 6 of the top 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the top 30 players in the Mets farm system call Binghamton their home at the moment, including 3 of the 4 top prospects in the Mets system. We start with shortstop outfielder Jet Williams, who was drafted first round, 14th overall in 2022. He could be up in the major leagues as early as the end of this year or most likely the start of next year. He has been absolutely amazing this year. He has potential. They're giving him reps right now in center field. He has the potential to play some center field for the Mets this year. I think that's why they sent him back. Actually, they brought him up to Syracuse last year, I think for the playoff run towards the end, because he only played 6 games with them. But in Brooklyn and Binghamton this year, 279, 387, 481 for an 868 OPS. Plays good defense and could be the center fielder of the future for the New York Mets, hence why that Cedric Mullins was only a rental. Jonah Tong has been arguably the best pitcher in minor league baseball this year. 8-4 with a 1.58 ERA in 19 starts, 97 innings pitched, 154 strikeouts. He's just destroying Double-A baseball right now, and we are just waiting for him to get called up to Triple-A. I think he is absolutely a New York Met. If not opening day next year, by June next year, he is a New York Met, and he is in that rotation. He's been absolutely filthy this year. Talk about another guy who should absolutely be in the Mets on the Mets roster next year. Carson Bench, the first-round draft pick of last year's draft, 2024, 19th overall. He has been one of the best hitters in minor league baseball this season. Since he's gotten called up to Binghamton, 356, 446, 644 for a 1090 OPS. He has 8 home runs and 20 RBIs in 27 games in Binghamton. He has been absolutely phenomenal. He can also be an outfielder for the Mets next year. So that'll be interesting to see the competition between Carson Bench and Jet Williams to see if either of them get the starting job next year. We also have Jacob Reimer in Double-A, third baseman outfielder, who has been has slowed down a little bit since getting called up to Double-A because he was hitting much better in Brooklyn. But he is somebody who I expect up not next year, but in 2027 potentially. He is definitely one of the higher risers in the Mets system. Jacob Reimer was a 4th-round draft pick just in 2022, so a little bit of a lower pick there. Also, Ryan Clifford, who was part of the Justin Verlander trade. He has been pretty decent with Binghamton this year, 248, 362, 487 for an 849 OPS. He has been strong. I don't know where he fits. Feels like he's a 4th outfielder type of fit potentially, or he is another guy that maybe can push towards that center field spot. So we have 3 guys in Jet Williams, in Carson Bench, and in Ryan Clifford who can fight for that center field job next year. I could definitely see next year Ryan Clifford definitely getting an invite to spring training and potentially be doing it, be able to make the team next year. Jonathan Santucci, who is the 2nd-round draft pick for the New York Mets in 2024 out of Duke, lefty. He's due up in 2027. He's been pretty good this year in Binghamton. He's actually slowed down a little bit since being limited sample size. 4 starts, 18 and 3rd innings pitched, a 180 opponent's batting average, 109 whip, 23 strikeouts, 9 walks. He has a 3.93 ERA, but I think that was just one bad start. He's somebody I don't expect up next year, but I expect up in 2027. He is another guy who's been pretty good. Jack Wettinger has been a solid piece of the rotation in Binghamton, who was drafted in the 6th round, 186 overall in 2023. 9-6 record, 284 ERA, 20 starts, 101 and a third innings pitched, 224 opponents batting average, a 1.15 WHIP. He's been a solid piece of that rotation as well as Chris Suero, who is a catcher, first baseman, outfielder, has been decent for the Mets this year, an 837 OPS, playing 3 different positions. Somebody to keep an eye on for because they have been projected up in 2027. Then a few more guys. Ryan Lambert, who has been mainly a relief pitcher for Binghamton, is somebody I can see making the bullpen next year. He has been phenomenal in 27 appearances, 4 saves, 29 and a third innings pitched, at 2.15 ERA. In Brooklyn, he had 7 appearances, 8 innings, a 1.13 ERA. Ryan Lambert is somebody who I could see in the bullpen as early as next year, potentially, and I think he can be a solid piece of that bullpen. Zach Thornton, a left-handed pitcher who is due up potentially next year. He is one of the starters in Binghamton as well. They have a solid rotation there between Wettinger, Santucci, and Thornton. He's 3-2 with a 2.6 ERA and 52 innings pitched. This is going to be a fun Binghamton team potentially heading into the playoffs as well. Final guy, the 29th rated prospect on the team, 2-0 this year in Binghamton in 23 and a third innings pitched, 4 games, 3 starts. RJ Gordon, who was a 13th round draft pick, 383 overall in 2024, has broke the top 30 for the Mets system. Let's head to the next one here because the last of the minor league teams. Now, the Syracuse Mets are not the cream of the crop when it comes to this farm system, the AAA team. A lot of 4A guys I've noticed. Ritter is still up there, who's been up there, it feels like forever, and things along those lines. They are 58 and 51. However, they are 27-7 in the second half of the season so far. They are the only team they are the only Mets minor league team not to clinch a playoff spot yet, but they are half game up on the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees for the top team in the second half of the International League. Obviously, if you win your first half, you win the second half, you get an automatic clinch to the playoffs, and I think the Syracuse Mets can be well on their way doing that. And they've got some fun prospects on that team as well. Nolan McLean, the 3rd-rated prospect in the Mets system, right-handed pitcher. Would not be surprised to see him with the Mets this year, drafted in the 3rd round, 91st overall in 2023. He's somebody where I'm expecting him to play with the Mets this year. Same thing with the next guy here, Brandon Sproat. Call him up. He has been phenomenal. The 2nd-round draft pick back in 2023, 56th overall out of Florida. They did sign him at slot value for $1.474 million. He struggled when he first got up to Syracuse, but since then he has been absolutely dominant. I think he's given up 2 earned runs in his last 7 or 8 starts. He's been phenomenal. He needs to be up in the with the Mets yesterday. They don't have too many guys who are towards the tops. Jonathan Pintaro, the 17th rated prospect with the Mets, did get up for 0.2 innings with the Mets earlier this year. Did not look particularly great. In Syracuse so far this year, 15 and third innings pitched, 4.11 ERA, limited sample size, more of a 2-inning reliever type of guy. Dylan Ross, another one, right-handed pitcher, who's the 18th rated prospect in the system, is a reliever as well. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets called up to join the bullpen or to be an arm sometime soon. They do project him up this year. Same with Pintaro. Obviously, Pintaro's already been up. He has a 1.26 ERA in Syracuse. Looks pretty good out of the bullpen. And I believe that is the last guy here, the number 30 prospect in baseball, Douglas or Orellana, who with Syracuse this year has kind of struggled 2-0, but 5 2/3 innings pitched, six games pitched with a 6.35. But in Binghamton this year, 25 appearances, 33 innings pitched, so 1.64. So he was much better in Binghamton before he was called up there. Which leads us to the Mets, who are currently, I think, 13 games over 500. And when you look at the Mets team and you look at their farm system and everything along those lines, this is a team that everybody's going to point and say they spend way too much money. They spend way too much money. How about this? Lindor and Soto are the only. I mean, I've seen them run out this lineup a few times this year. Obviously, they have other guys that they didn't sign or they traded for and things like that. But they ran out a lineup of Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso, Soto, McNeil, Vientos, Alvarez, Beatty, Mauricio. Lindor and Soto are the only non-homegrown Mets part of that system, part of that lineup. And you see the Mets will, especially David Stearns refuses to sign pitchers for multiple years, I think, or more than like 3 years. Obviously, we saw Manaea get the 3-year deal. We saw Montas get a 2-year deal and things along those lines. Well, when you look at what the Mets have in that farm system coming up with the McLean, with the Sproat, with the Tong, there's no need to sign big name pitchers like that and spend a lot of money, because I think, and a lot of people might disagree with me here, I think the Mets are not going to be the highest payroll in baseball within the next 3 years. With all these guys coming up, they're not going to feel the need to sign bigger name free agents. If these prospects pan out the way we expect them to, this team could be a very good team and not spend the crazy amount of money. Obviously, they're still going to be paying Soto and all that, but keep an eye on this Mets payroll because it's going to go down over the next few years, and the Mets are not going to be the highest payroll in baseball for very long. So that is the full breakdown for the Mets farm system and everything along those lines, kind of taking a look at Port St. Lucie and Brooklyn and Binghamton and Syracuse and the New York team as well as like their top prospects and stuff like that. So let me know if you guys want me to look over any other farms or any other organizations from top to bottom in baseball as well. And if this information was helpful to you guys all, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you guys are notified every time we come out with a video here at Baseball Talk with your brothers. But that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys for watching. Peace out.